Now, once the doors are open, it does in fact once again emit sort of these sound effects for the... Shut up! Oh my god, this TARDIS is driving my nut in. Hello YouTube, and welcome to another Doctor Who product review. Today I'm taking a look at another product from the Collector series, and this time it's the Electronic Flight Control TARDIS, which is exclusive to Toys R Us. Now, this is the latest release of the TARDIS that we've seen so far, and quite frankly, it's actually going back to how we used to have TARDISes and good quality products, which is rather exciting. So the box itself has taken on the same design as the rest of the figures in the Collector series. At the top we have the classic Doctor Who logo as opposed to the new Series 9 one. On the sides of the box you have a list of the TARDIS's features, and then along the bottom we have the American Safety sticker along with the title of the set and the logo thingy that is covering up the Underground Toys thing. I wonder what that is. Then we have a picture of the TARDIS on its inside, along with some weird TARDIS noises at the top. TARDIS is displayed rather nicely in the box with the window at the front going on to the top. Take a look at the sides of the box. We have the Doctor Who logo once again, along with a promotional image of the TARDIS itself and a few of its features listed once again. Same applies for the opposite side, however more features are listed. And then on the very back of the box we actually have all of the features listed once again, but this time in the format of how it used to be on the old 10th Doctor TARDIS. As you can see, you have all the different features listed with all the different motions and things, and then at the very bottom you have some company information. So here we have the TARDIS itself, and doesn't it look exactly the same to all the others that we've seen before, which is the brilliant thing about it, because as well as it looking the same, it's also retained the same features as the 10th Doctor one, released in 2007 or 2008, which is brilliant because it has all the same play value and things that we had on that initial prop that we've not seen since. So it's really nice to see the character has gone back to its old roots and actually created a toy that's got a ton of features with it, which I will be going on to a little bit later. For those of you that have got Doctor Who TARDISes in the past, to be honest, there is nothing new here. It's exactly the same sculpt to last time. Therefore, the same detailing of things has been sort of carried across here. So as you can see, all around the box we do have this really nice texture added to it, this sort of wood-grained effect. Now this has actually been etched into the plastic, which is great. Considering that this is one block colour, there hasn't really been any weathering added to this except the wood grain effect, but this alone really does set off the TARDIS really nicely. I'm really glad that they've added it, as it would have probably looked pretty naff if it didn't have it, so it's great that they've added it once again. The TARDIS does have a great amount of detail. As you can see on the front here, we do have the most amount of detail here, obviously. So we have the Yale lock. This has been done quite well. It's just a nice 3D sculpt that actually sticks up throughout the TARDIS door, so as you can see we have the little keyhole there. I believe that's still the Yale lock. And then just above this we also have the two handles as well. We have the door handle. Once again, this is painted silver, nothing else to sort of talk about there. And then to the side of this we do also have the handle for the door, but this is now stuck down, so there isn't really any use for this, but still it's nice that they've included it, much like how the TARDIS in the actual show does. And then we of course have the St. John's ambulance sign, taking a return once again from the 11th Doctor TARDIS prop. Then from the side of this we also have the police pulp to open box, but this time it's slightly different. This is in fact a sticker this time, which makes it look actually a lot less tacky. You have everything printed there once again, the same stuff, pull to open, respond to calls, blah blah blah, all of that stuff, you've seen it before. As I said, this time it doesn't in fact open, as this is one of the light up features of the TARDIS. The light does in fact shine down and light this up, which is actually a really nice feature. We even have the little hinges that would hold this in place there, which is nice, but once again, as I said, this does not open, therefore it's just sort of a fake sculpting there. Going up the TARDIS now to the windows, a feature that was seen on the initial Christmas Carol set, I believe they called it, which was this white frame design. Now as you can see, this has actually been done really nicely. It's pretty much the same to that design, so it's nice to finally see a electronic TARDIS with this window design, and that was a complaint because it was technically more accurate. So yeah, it's nice to finally see it on an electronic prop. It's a really nice white lining around the sides that's been painted really well, no paint leak at all present on them. And then we have the windows. These have been done really nicely. Of course we have the three at the top which haven't got any effects on them, and then the same one here, but then the two to the side here are once again sort of with this grained cloudy effect, which is really nice. It's sort of got this frost effect on, which once again this is actually textured, so once again looks really lifelike. And to the sides of the prop, once again there's not really too much to talk about. The same features have once again been passed off of the windows and the wood grain effect, which is nice. It's obviously symmetrical on all of the sides, which is great. Moving up now, we do have the door sign. This has once again been printed really nicely, much like any other 5-inch TARDIS. Now this has been done really well, and it looks actually in scale with the prop, something that can't be said for the 3.75 one, as that looks really stretched and not very nice. The lettering on the sticker does actually shine really well, and I do really like the way that it's quite glossy as well. It really does bring the product to life. quite, especially when it's lighting up, which is actually a really nice feature that I'm glad to see return on these props. As you're sculpting around the sides as well, where we have the sort of beginning of the stacks at the top of the roof, so I do really like the addition of that. Once again, exactly the same sculpt to the initial prop released quite a while ago now. And then we have the stacks at the very top of the TARDIS. Now, I don't actually think that these are accurate, as I do believe in the recent Christmas special, the stacks do actually seem to be a little bit taller than normal. I don't know if that was just because of the snow or anything, but yeah, I do believe that the 12th Doctor's TARDIS might have a slightly different formation of stacks. I don't know, it might even be the 11th one that changed it slightly, I can't really remember. But as you can see, this still has been done nicely. We do have these little protector panels on each individual corner, which is nice, along with the stacks once again detailed with the same wood grain effect, which is great. Then at the very top of the TARDIS, we do have the lantern. Now, this is exactly the same sculpt to the one that appeared on the 11th Doctor's TARDIS. Much like that one, we do have all the different details repeated once again. We have the little side panels, as well as the blue lines going around the light itself, as well as the actual see-through light in the side, which is a really nice feature. And then we have the little lid at the top as well. So overall, it's actually a really nice detailed little thing, and I'm glad that it's see-through, because that means the light can shine through really well. Moving on to the inside of the TARDIS now, something similar to what we've seen before. We do have the interior TARDIS printed inside. On the floor of the TARDIS, we do have this sort of tiled effect. Once again, this is painted like a grey colour. This is technically inaccurate, as the 12th Doctor's TARDIS does in fact have the tiled flooring, which I don't really mind, but they have at least gone through the extent to paint it the grey colour. And then at the very bottom there, we do have the tile. This then does, obviously, can be clicked and can shut this door here. And then on the inside, we do have the TARDIS printed. Now, this is sort of exactly the same format to all of the other TARDISes. As you can see, though, this has been done rather well. I do think this TARDIS can get away with the design quite well, actually, with it being quite on a flat surface, unlike the other TARDISes. I do definitely think that this looks a lot more appealing than the 11th Doctor one, as it just was a little bit rubbish, wasn't it? But yeah, it's nice to see on the inside of this one, we have the TARDIS nicely glowing and things. It's actually the red lighting as seen on the Series 9 one, as opposed to the slightly lighter one of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, which is a great feature, and once again making it more accurate to the 12th Doctor. At the doors, obviously, it's the same closing effect, so we close with that one, and then we, of course, have the button on the floor. Now, unfortunately, mine does jam every so often, but you can still click it to shut the door. Moving on to features, the TARDIS, of course, has the same dematerializing and materializing effects. Also, just by cheating a little bit and using the button at the bottom, it does also emit the sort of quick materializing sound effect as well. As with any other TARDIS prop, once again the light does light up when the TARDIS does land, and does sort of produce some weird sort of movements. So for this part of the review, I've decided to slightly move backdrop so I can sort of move the TARDIS around a little bit easier. So turning on the TARDIS at the bottom will almost immediately allow for this sound to be made. Now, what I've found out is mine seems to be rather sensitive, as it just tends to make the sound over and over again, even when the TARDIS takes off, so I find that rather annoying. But holding this hole at the bottom and the light at the top and spinning it allows for you to have sort of the quick dematerializing and materializing sound effect, much like how the 10th Doctor TARDIS does. Of course, also the sound that it's currently emitting, which it constantly never stops doing. And then shaking the TARDIS makes this weird E-ring sound, which I don't quite know what that is. The final feature of the TARDIS is in fact on right now, but you can't really see it too well until the lights are turned off. And this is the first ever time that this has been seen since the 10th Doctor electronic TARDIS prop, and it is actually a great feature, and I just love it. I think it works really well. So turning off the lights once again, the TARDIS lights do light up on both the Police Public Call Box sign, as well as the windows there. As you can see, it looks brilliant. I just love the way it looks rather alive, and I think on the white it definitely works really well. I dare say it actually works a little bit better than the 10th Doctor TARDIS, but I think it works really nicely, and it just makes the product look so much better. Interestingly, on the box it does state that the Police Public Call Box sign, it does in fact light up as well, I do believe, and as you can see, mine doesn't. I find that very weird, because obviously the light comes down from the top up here and shines down, but as you can see, literally my light here is literally pitch black darkness, and I don't believe it's meant to be like that. But as you can see, the lights are working on the inside. You've already seen that the light up there works, so I honestly do not understand why that is not lighting up, so I think that that is a very odd feature. Doing a comparison now with the other 11th Doctor TARDIS available, as you can see, it doesn't take a genius to work out that this new TARDIS is a lighter blue. It's basically a blend of the two, I think, so we have these sort of windows from the other version, which is technically more accurate, but we also have the pull to open stuff removed and all that, which I don't really mind about, because I don't really see it opened in the series much at all, and I would rather actually have that feature removed to be able to have the light up effect seen on the 10th Doctor's TARDIS once again. It would be nice if this one did have the electronic features, as I do rather like this one, and this one's just a bit weird with the black windows. I find it odd, but this one is really nice. I do like this version. I think it's a nice blue, and in comparison with the 10th Doctor TARDIS, the one that I've pretty much been comparing this to all the way throughout the review, as you can see, it's pretty much completely different. The different windows and things in there, I do believe, are actually a slightly different sculpt. Obviously, the pull to open thing, the light at the top, it obviously is a different colour blue as well. And I think that overall they've definitely transferred it across well. However, I do think that the 10th Doctor one has a lot better weathering. I don't really think there isn't really too much weathering on the 12th Doctor TARDIS in the actual show, really. It still may have been nice to have a bit under here or something, just a bit of weathering in places, just to make it look a little bit battered, because it has been through a lot. And finally, doing comparison with the other 5.5-inch collector series figures available, as you can see, the 12th Doctor fits in really well with his TARDIS, and it's nice to actually see a TARDIS for the 12th Doctor, as this now means that all of the new series Doctors do technically have a TARDIS to themselves, I guess, apart from the War Doctor. Maybe we'll see one at some point, because it is technically the 10th and 9th Doctor one just sort of battered a bit, so you never know. So overall, for this product, I do really like it. It's nice to finally see another TARDIS on the market that has exactly the same features to that of the other TARDIS that was released back in 2007 or 2008 time, as some people haven't been into Doctor Who that long, so it's nice to finally have the new audience being able to have a TARDIS of their own that has a decent amount of features. I do believe that the 11th Doctor one was around £15, this one is £20, but I guess we're paying for the extra features there, which it is worth it, because originally I believe somebody said it was £30, which was a bit expensive, but I'm glad that they decided to put it for £20, as I do see that as quite a reasonable price, especially when the figures are now around £15. Overall, the features are great, however, it is a little bit weird the fact of mine doesn't have the light up sticker, even though it does advertise it on the box. I think that that may be a glitch in somewhere. Maybe if somebody can answer that for me, that would be very nice. Fortunately, though, mine does have a little bit of a black paint drip on the side of it as well, so some of the paint apps could have been improved in places, as well as the actual sensibility of the different sound effects and things, as I just find mine is ridiculous. The amount of times that I lift it up, it doesn't do the dematerializing sound, it does this other weird vortexy sound. I do think it is very sensitive and quite annoying at times, actually, so it may be nice to have the same sensitivity as the original version, as I found that that one worked a lot more effective and there was no need to change it. But yeah, this one does seem to have this weird thing where it just wants to turn on all the time and do these weird sounds, which I've not actually done the actions for. So yeah, it is a weird sensitive thing, but I just think that that may have been nice to sort of see improved as well. But overall, I think that it's a great product, and I would recommend it for any Doctor Who fan if you are interested in the toys. It's a great little replica, as well as a great little toy as well. So thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy it, please do give it a big like, please subscribe if you're not already. If any questions, please do leave them below, and I'll be sure to answer them at some point in the near future. Thanks again for watching, and I shall see you all next time. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.